The movie begins with Jessica anxiously awaiting her husband John's return from work. Her tear-filled eyes suggest the weight of disturbing news she carries. When John questions the reason behind Jessica's somber face, she reveals her knowledge of his affair with one of his students named Vivian. John wants to explain, but Jessica is not interested in hearing him. Because she loves her daughter, Anna, and the life they built together, she doesn't want to throw everything away by divorcing John. To restore their relationship, Jessica sets 3 conditions. John must never see Vivian again unless it is to tell her their relationship is over. Additionally, they must not reveal this truth to Anna, and finally, they will take a family trip to reconnect. John enthusiastically agrees to all 3 of Jessica's conditions. The family then plans a trip to Bayou, where they will stay in a giant house in the middle of nowhere scene. The owner of the house, who is selling it, hired Jessica's agency to oversee the preparations. While Jess gets it ready for the market, they kindly allowed Jessica and her family to stay there temporarily. Jessica had been telling John for months that she wanted to stay in the house, but her husband didn't even remember her saying that. Inside the house, Anna lets her beloved cat, Toby, roam around the room. The couple's relationship undergoes a noticeable shift, and Jessica finds herself easily irritated, frequently mentioning John's infidelity as a painful reminder. She then sends John to buy wine and veal for the evening meal. Despite knowing that John doesn't like veal chops, she insists on preparing them, seemingly as a tactic of revenge scene. Regardless, John takes Anna shopping, and we see that the suspicious store clerk keeps staring at them. The father deliberately avoids buying veal chops, aware of Jessica's intentions to serve them for dinner. Meanwhile, Anna meets a teenage boy named Isaac, who quickly tries to befriend her. He compliments Anna's beauty and begins asking questions about her stay in Bayou. Before leaving the store, Isaac invites Anna to have ice cream sometime, to which she responds with a broad smile. At the checkout, John tells his daughter that the store is out of veal chops, and the store owner hands them their purchase receipt. However, things take a strange turn for John when he notices a dark message on the receipt. "You are being watched by the devil." Disturbed by this eerie note, John decides never to visit the store again, feeling uncomfortable with the situation. Upon arriving home, John and Anna find Jessica trying to open a door with a screwdriver. Moreover, this room wasn't on the house's blueprint, and she is curious about what lies beyond. At the same time, she questions John about the veal chops, and John explains that they didn't have any. At that moment, the doorbell rings, revealing Isaac, who oddly invites the family to dinner at his house. It turns out Isaac is a grandson of the old man from the store, and he says he came to bring the veal because there were plenty at the store, and perhaps her husband didn't see them. Jessica promptly accepts the invitation. Jessica then confronts John, who defensively continues to lie to her, claiming there was no veal at the store. Furthermore, he expresses reluctance to attend the dinner tonight due to the inappropriate message the grandfather wrote on his receipt. However, Jessica considers the message a joke, and she once again mentions her husband's betrayal, provoking a furious response from John, who says he feels better when he's with Vivian than when he's with Jessica. Jessica then breaks down in tears, and John finally understands his past mistakes and apologizes for his words. Anna inadvertently overhears their intense argument, causing her immense stress and leading to a nosebleed. Since Anna isn't feeling well, Jessica decides to cancel the dinner, but she doesn't have Isaac's number to inform him. John then expresses his intention to visit the grocery store and let them know they won't be able to attend dinner. But there's a knock at the door. To their surprise, it's Isaac. He explains that their oven broke, ruining their plans to cook, so the best alternative they found was to bring the food and join the family for dinner. Reluctantly, the couple extends a hesitant welcome to Isaac and his grandfather into their home, but John remains uncomfortable with their presence. Curious, he asks the old man about the message he wrote on the receipt. The grandfather tells John that the devil is watching us all the time. Meanwhile, Isaac reveals that his parents passed away years ago from bone cancer, and since then, his grandfather raised him as his own son. When Jessica asks about the real owner of the house they're staying in, Isaac reveals that they don't spend much time here, and there's not much information about them. Jessica finds this somewhat peculiar, as Isaac is the closest neighbor and knows nothing about the owner of this house. As they gather to share the meal, Jessica continues to feel a strange sensation in the presence of Isaac and his grandfather. The mood becomes even more unsettling when Isaac asks Jessica to light a candle, and what increases the discomfort is that he knows exactly where the candles are. Jessica then grabs some matches for Isaac, and she and John have a serious conversation about how they need to get rid of their guests. However, when they return to the table, Anna excitedly tells them that Isaac lit the candle with his finger, which was a cool trick. Jessica tells Isaac that he and the grandfather must leave immediately after dinner, but her request does not receive the expected response. Isaac is upset with the way they're being treated and points to the empty rooms in the house, suggesting that they could spend the night there. Among those rooms, he even mentions the locked room that Jessica was trying to open earlier. But before John can ask more questions about how he knew that, Anna's nose begins to bleed again. Scene.
Oh, get her.
Hey, baby.
Concerned for their daughter's well-being, the couple firmly orders Isaac to leave their house. However, Isaac's behavior begins to reveal his true and disturbing nature. As the tension escalates, they discover that Anna's cat has been locked inside the mysterious room, and Isaac has the only key to it. John tries to wrest the key from Isaac, but his efforts prove futile. At that moment, disturbing noises emanate from the locked room, suggesting that Toby is being attacked by an unknown entity. Faced with the intriguing situation, John orders the grandfather to leave the house with his grandson, and here, the grandfather enigmatically replies that Isaac is not his grandson. The old man also suggests that a coyote might have entered the room with Toby, leading John to once again ask Isaac for the key, which Isaac now tells him to check in his back pocket. He then finds the key there, but it is not the key that opens the door. When Isaac goes to the bathroom, the grandfather tells him he has something to discuss. The grandfather finally reveals that his intentions are not to steal. He enigmatically comments that lies, betrayal, and murder will open a door, his gaze clearly directed at John. The old man reveals that Isaac is not his biological grandson, but rather an orphan who appeared one summer, coming out of the swamp and ended up in his care. According to him, Isaac possesses a virtuous Christian spirit, and even though he has lived with the grandfather for decades, he seems not to age, and John asserts that none of this makes sense. Once the old man has more to say to the family about Isaac, he stands up to put on music.
You telling me that you found out about us?
I wasn't careful enough.
So that Isaac won't hear their conversation, but unexpectedly seen. A recording of John's final meeting with Vivian begins to play. The recording reveals the shocking truth that John ignored Jessica's warning and continued to meet with Vivian, even promising to divorce Jessica after returning from vacation to start a new life with Vivian. John's frustration mounts as he blames the grandfather for intentionally exposing him before his daughter, but the old man claims that this was not his intention and believes it to be one of Isaac's magical tricks. Discovering that her husband no longer loves her, Jessica decides to initiate divorce proceedings. Just as she prepares to leave with Anna, Isaac emerges from the bathroom, surprisingly holding Toby in his arms. Assessing the situation, John suddenly accuses Jessica of orchestrating a malicious plan involving Isaac and that old man, intending to turn their daughter against him. Jessica denies any knowledge of these men, insisting that she has never seen them before in her life. At this moment, the family's attention abruptly shifts when a coyote is seen outside the window, allowing Isaac to grab a hidden iron from under the table. With their lives at stake, the family reluctantly agrees to comply with Isaac's orders, but first, they have to deal with his disturbing behavior as he records himself with Jessica's camera for no apparent reason. He hands the weapon to his grandfather and takes John outside for a private conversation. Both move away from the house, and in the garden, something unexpected happens. Scene. It is revealed that John hired Isaac to eliminate Jessica. From the beginning, John had orchestrated a plan, aware of Jessica's desire to visit the house. He hired Isaac, a 21-year-old from the army, intending to stage a robbery so that Jessica's elimination would appear to be an accident. However, Isaac's and his grandfather's actions go beyond what John paid for, and now he urges Isaac to expedite the job. But Isaac advises him to reconsider his choices. John, however, remains adamant in his order for Isaac to eliminate Jessica, so that John can build a new life with Vivian, his daughter, and the money from the insurance policy. Meanwhile, Jessica proposes a deal to the grandfather, suggesting that if he allows her and her daughter to escape, she will offer him everything she has as a reward. Anna says they cannot leave their father behind to die, and then the grandfather responds that he cannot betray Isaac. Before Jessica can persuade him, Isaac returns from the garden, and finally, he reveals his plan to Jessica. After confining the family inside the locked room, he intends to commit a robbery, taking the money and the SUV. Before leaving, he will contact the authorities, pretending to be an informant to report the supposed robbery. With the grandfather holding a metal rod, Jessica finds herself forced to follow every command from Isaac. The mysterious men then escort the family to the locked room, directing John to enter first. Once again, their actions disrupt the plan agreed upon with John, and he, unable to express objections, is forced to enter the room as Isaac quickly shuts the door. Scene. Isaac then reveals the shocking truth about John's history of infidelity with various women, and advises Jessica not to forgive her husband's mistakes and to face the truth this time. As John begs Anna to ignore Isaac's words, the doorbell rings, prompting Jessica to check the visitor's identity as instructed by Isaac. The unexpected visitor is Vivian, who arrives after receiving a distressing message from John. Setting aside their differences, Jessica reveals the robbery situation, saying that Vivian was lured there by Isaac using John's phone. She urgently instructs Vivian to seek help at the nearest police station and takes a can of pepper spray from her as a tool for future defense. As Jessica's delay raises suspicions, Isaac instructs the grandfather to take Anna and get gasoline. John then threatens Isaac, warning him of the serious consequences of his betrayal, and thus Isaac instructs John to explore the closet and find an escape route scene. Meanwhile, as Vivian struggles to start her car, she realizes that the door is jammed, leaving her trapped inside. Meanwhile, the grandfather arrives with the gasoline and instructs Anna to pour it on Vivian's car. Jessica then asks him to let Vivian go, but she is forced to obey the old man's orders. Ignoring Vivian's desperate screams and pleas, Grandpa sets the car on fire. Jessica then uses a hammer to deliver several fatal blows to the old man's skull, sending him to the ground. She also tries to rescue Vivian, but it's too late, as the fire has already engulfed the entire car. As Isaac has all the keys, they cannot use her car to escape. The mother then leaves Anna with him and returns home to rescue her treacherous husband, unaware of a shocking discovery awaiting her. She stumbles upon John lying on the floor with a coyote beside him and his intestines horrifically spilling from his abdomen. John tells Jessica that Isaac told him Vivian is here, so Jessica tells John that Vivian is still alive just to see what he will say. And again, to Jessica's dismay, John asks her to tell Vivian that he loves her. As Jessica closes the door, the sounds of the coyote's fatal bites and John's agony echo in her ears. Upon returning to the garden, Jessica faces another problem. Isaac has taken Anna hostage, expressing his desire for her to become his wife. He then reveals to Jessica that it was John who hired them to finish her off, but Jessica cannot believe it. According to Isaac, John deserves to be erased, not Jessica. At that moment, Anna seizes the opportunity to use the pepper spray on Isaac, while Jessica takes the metal rod from his hands and, without hesitation, here she discovers that his claims of wanting to marry Anna were mere jokes. Isaac confesses that he sees himself as a moral compass, guiding people who have lost their way. He reveals that he and Grandpa built this house specifically for people like John, traitors, liars, and sinners. He also states that he has lived in this world for centuries, unsure if he is a demon, an angel, or just a confused child. With his last breath, Isaac hands Jessica the keys to his car, granting her a chance to escape this horrible nightmare. After fleeing, Jessica rushes to the nearest police station for help to find her husband. However, the officer dismisses her as confused, as there is no record of a house matching her description. Jessica then gives the officer the address and asks her to take her to the house while leaving Anna at the station. The officer and Jessica visit the location of the house, but to Jessica's surprise, there is no house there and the lot is empty. However, her wedding ring is still there, which she threw at John that night. Faced with the lack of evidence to support her claims, Jessica reluctantly decides to return. On the way back, the officer tells Jessica that she is not the first person to arrive with a crazy story about a house in that location. She then tells Jessica to open the glove compartment, where she finds the same camera from the house. Upon playing the recorded video, she is completely shocked to hear Isaac's voice declaring that he is right behind her, confirming that they are alive. The officer then reveals that Isaac and Grandpa exist beyond human comprehension and help the authorities maintain order. Furthermore, the officers will protect Isaac as they care for those who commit evil, injustice, and betrayals. However, Jessica says she will expose her story to the public, but no one would believe her. But the officer, on the other hand, advises her to stay calm and embrace the second chance given to her by Isaac, emphasizing the importance of kindness in this new opportunity for life, or else he may come for her again. But this time it will be she who will be purified. The movie ends with Jessica and Anna finding solace in each other's arms, while Isaac and Grandpa set off on another mission to lure yet another wrongdoer toward their final destination, hell. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more summaries like this. See you next time.